नमस्कार, मैं स्मिता श्रीवास्तव दैनिक जागरण से आप सबका स्वागत करती हूँ। आज हमारे साथ एक एक्टर जो सिर्फ एक्टर नहीं है, प्रोड्यूसर भी हैं, डायरेक्टर भी हैं और सिंगर भी हैं और उनके हमने कई अलग अलग रूप देखे हैं। तो पृथ्वी, आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है।
थैंक यू सो मच।
एक तरफ आपकी द गोट फिल्म आ रही है, उसके बाद बड़े मियाँ छोटे मियाँ, द गोट लाइफ, फिर बड़े मियाँ छोटे मियाँ, उसके बाद सरजमी। तो पृथ्वी की पृथ्वी कितनी हिली और आप एक डायरेक्ट भी कर रहे हैं।
With the Goat Life, at least, we had actually decided that it is going to release on 10th of April initially, long back. This film has been 16 years in the making, and we finished shoot in 2022. And back then we decided that 2024 Vishu, April 14th is also Vishu for Kerala. It's the Malayali New Year. So we had decided that 2024 Vishu, this film will release. But then we advanced it a bit because another big film was scheduled to release originally on the 28th of March, which was Mohanlal's directorial debut, a film called Baros, which at the last moment got postponed because post-production was not getting done. So then this date opened up and I decided that it's best to advance this film, or else two films of mine will release on the same day, like Bade Miyan Chote Miyan, and this would release on the same day. So now it's all worked out well. The Goat Life releases on the 28th of March, and then Bade Miyan Chote Miyan releases on Eid. So it's good. And it's two great films to come, close to each other, because as an actor, I think you are going to see two entirely different characters from me, and I'm looking forward to what people think after having seen both the films.
या पृथ्वी, लेकिन ये हमने जो टीजर देखा आपका जिसमें दिख रहा है देयर इज अ डेजर्ट, इट्स अ सर्वाइवल थ्रिलर, तो आसान नहीं है उस लाइफ में, इट्स नॉट इजी टू सर्वाइव इन दैट लाइफ. तो व्हाट वाज द रीजन टू से यस फॉर डूइंग सच काइंड फिल्म?
Well, you do realize that this is a true story. This is something that someone actually lived through, and it was initially written as a book. The story of Najib was written as a book called Aadjividam, and that book to date remains one of the largest selling books in the history of Malayalam. And it's a story that has now taken on iconic proportions, at least in Kerala. Najib's story is so ingrained into the Malayali mind now. Even back then, when I said yes to the film in 2009, the book was already a smash hit. And I personally know that multiple filmmakers across the country, not just from Malayalam, multiple filmmakers from across the country were discussing on wanting to make a feature film out of that story. But as luck and destiny would have it, it is director Blessy who got the rights to the book and the life rights of Najib, and he decided that I am the actor who should do it. And it's a role that any actor will say yes to. It's a dream role for any actor. But having said that, when I said yes to this film, I also knew that it involved a lot of investment from my part as an actor. It involved me going through a drastic physical transformation. At one point, I lost 31 kilos for the film, which was all actually planned out, and we had a plan and scheduling on how to do it. But unfortunately, we started shoot in 2018, and then in between the shooting process, the pandemic struck, which then meant that we had to suspend shoot for 1.5 years, which in turn meant that I had to go through the process of transformation twice, all over again, which was tough. I'm not going to claim it was easy. It was tough. But by then we were already halfway into, not halfway, already about 20-25% into the film. So there was no choice. I had to do it. Luckily, I could do it. My body responded. And thankfully, we were able to make that version of the Goat Life that we were all always dreaming about. So yeah, it's a film that I'm very proud of, and it's one of those films that is that I can, with full conviction, say is absolute zero compromise film.
Yeah, but the Goat Life के साथ और फिल्म भी तो आपके साथ चल रही होंगी, जो आप शूट कर रहे होंगे, तो it wasn't easy for you to go into the different character with the same physicality?
No, so during my transformation period, I did not do any other film.
Oh.
I did not. I could not do any other film. When that 1.5 year gap happened, yes, I did do other films. But then when I again started the process of the transformation, I stopped all other work. It was impossible to kind of go through that process and then be working.
So what you were eating during this transformation, and did you meet Najib also? You get some inputs from him?
So it's an interesting anecdote that Najib, of course, was always accessible. He's a very good friend of the writer, Benjamin. He's a good friend of the director, and he was any time I could have spoken to him. But we decided that we will not, that I will not. So the first time I spoke to Najib is after doing the last shot of Aad Jeevitam. For the last day of shoot, Najib was on location. I did the last shot, and the director called cut and said it's a wrap on the film. And that's the first time I walked behind the camera and I spoke to him. And we have actually shot that conversation. We have recorded that conversation, which I think we will release very soon. But after that, I have, of course, spoken to him quite a bit. And yeah, it's a like I told him during the audio launch of the film that I thanked him because it's a life that he lived. That is a reason for all of us being here. And forget about making a film. The fact that a human being could live through this and come through at the other end of it and still be amongst us today, alive and well, to be able to tell us the tale is just truly incredible.
Yeah, but why didn't you choose not to meet him?
Because so there is Najib's life, there is Benjamin's interpretation of Najib's life, which is the book. Then there is Blessie's interpretation of the book, which is the feature film. So I decided rather than, no, it was just not my decision, it was a joint decision. Rather than go and meet Najib, speak to him, understand him, and then try and formulate an imitation of the real life person, we decided that we would go the route of creating our version of what we imagined Najib would be like, or what Najib would have felt like, and then include that into the cinematic narrative of the story. But you know, I've again said this, a very profound experience I had was when I finally spoke to Najib. I realized that so many things that I thought of, so many things I imagined during the filming, during actually playing the character, they were exactly what Najib used to think during those days in the desert. They were exactly the emotions that used to run through him when he was alone and had no hope, and he did not know if he would make it out alive. So that's one part of the conversation that we have recorded, which I'm assuming you will see very soon.
But Prithvi, this was the most physical demanding film you have done so far?
Yeah, it is the most physically demanding film I have done.
Yeah. So what kind, did you take in any training also for this to look like this, and to, because you are looking totally different in this film?
Yeah, I didn't eat. I was, that's it, I just did not eat. The foundation of this particular transformation was fasting, and at some points I remember fasting up to 3 days, not eating anything for 3 days and all. And yeah, I mean it's not a healthy thing to do, but this is not one of those transformations where you start eating a lot of protein and, you know, start lifting heavy weights and try and make a six-pack. I've done that also, but this was way tougher because this was deprivation. You know, this was actually depriving your body of food, of nutrients, and trying to look as emaciated as you can, trying to look like a person who does not have enough food to sustain. So yeah, I mean, although I did have a trainer, a nutritionist, doctors on location to supervise the transformation, it was still not easy. But then I keep thinking every time, you know, that I am going through this transformation of losing weight with so much supervision, so much help. The real man, you know, he actually lived through it. He had to live through it with absolutely uncontrolled circumstances around him. So when I put my experience, when I put it in perspective in comparison to what the actual man lived through, then it's nothing.
But koi limit bhi, you have set any limit ki this your limit, you will work till this limit?
As in?
As in, like, there are limits to what you will do, like action will be this up to this extent, like this you have 3 दिन तक कुछ खाया नहीं, तो there will be a limit ना कि कितना extent तक जाओगे आप?
There are no limits. Yeah.
For actor, it's important not to set any limit.
I mean, once you decide to take up a character and you decide to invest yourself into a particular character, I think the way to, at least for me, the way I go about it is just I open myself up to it. I mean, I push myself as much as I can. I mean, the idea is to not set a limit, you know. Even when I started going through the transformation, it wasn't like we decided I would lose these many kilos. The idea was I lose as much as I can. So the limit is something I discovered, you know. I know, like for example, one day I fell unconscious on set. I knew, okay, that was the limit. So that's how you discover the limit.
But real life में real thrills के लिए what you do?
Real thrills के लिए, I do cinema.
It gives you thrill.
Yeah.
How much cinema you watch and what kind of cinema you love watching?
Every kind of cinema. That's all I know. That's all I do. I know nothing else in life. I'm pretty much a 12th standard pass. That's my educational qualification. I have no other crafts, no other skills. Only thing I know is cinema. Only thing I enjoy doing, like to that extent, is cinema. Yeah, I also like traveling and all that, but they're all secondary. And cinema is my primary passion.
So people are also willing to know about Bade Miyan, Chote Miyan. So tell us something about Bade Miyan, Chote Miyan. You are playing a great character in the movie.
Yeah, I think everybody knows that I'm playing the antagonist in the film.
Yeah.
It's a character that I had a lot of fun playing. It's not a character that someone like me. So usually, I mean, I get these hero characters, right? I mean, I don't. Once in a while, someone offers me a villain role, and this was like one of those roles that I just couldn't say no to. And I'm a big fan of Ali Abbas Safar. I think he's a wonderful filmmaker, and I think he's made a great film. And yeah, I mean, I'm friends with Akshay sir, and it was a great team. It was a very, very big film. It's a genuinely big film. I think when the trailer comes, people will realize that it's the scale and the canvas is quite big. And I had a lot of fun playing that character and working with that team. Hopefully the film will do well. It's going to release soon.
तो वासु ने बताया था बड़े मियाँ में एक्शन लेवल इज टू हाई, तो आपको कुछ अलग उसके लिए भी प्रिपरेशन करनी पड़ी? You did any training for that?
Not really. We had a great action team on location. We had an entire team from South Africa supervising the action choreography. And yeah, I mean, before the sequences were shot, we had to train for those particular sequences. But other than that, no.
Let's come back to the goat life. Jordan में आपने shoot किया. How was the experience? Because sand dunes and all that, and the visuals are too good. So how was yours experience in shooting desert and all?
We also shot in Algeria.
Oh.
Yeah. So we shot in Jordan in Wadi Rum, and also we shot in Timimoun in Algeria, the Sahara Desert. Jordan is a wonderful country. It's a beautiful, beautiful country. Lovely people and very good film infrastructure. Like you know, it's you can go there and shoot the most complex sequences because they have the backup infrastructure and the facility to do that. But of course, it's also an expensive country to shoot in. Not their fault because the currency conversion is
Yeah,
quite
very
unfavorable for us. I think it's like some 125 rupees to the dinar now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So other than that, it's just the loveliest place to shoot in. Yeah.
Yeah. And we are also waiting for Salah 2. So what are the preparation for Salah 2?
Yeah, we'll start shoot quite soon, and then I guess it'll go on for a while because it's quite a big film. It's much bigger than part 1, so it'll take its own time.
Yeah, there's a one question from the fan because in Salah you played a friend's role. So एक fan ने पूछा how much you have friends in the industry and how easy to make friends at this stage?
It's not about being in the industry or being at any particular stage. I just think I'm not very good at making friends. I'm just not a very social being that way. I'm not that guy who will who loves partying and who has a large social circle. But that's not to say that I don't have friends. There are people with who I maintain relationships with. But I'm also not that guy who always has that big gang around him. If I have a day off, if I have some free time, I'd rather be home with my wife, my daughter and my dog.
So you're also directing L2?
Yeah, after Lucifer, I did a film called Bro Daddy,
Yeah.
which was a direct-to-streaming film, again that had Mohanlal sir in the lead. So the second part of Lucifer is being shot. I finished one schedule in I finished one schedule in Ladakh, then I finished a schedule in the UK. Then I just wrapped my shoot in the US. I'll again restart the shoot of that film after Aad Jeevitam and Bade Miyan Chote Miyan release. Yeah.
So you are a singer also. So how seriously you take your singing now?
Not seriously at all. I'm not a singer. That's not something that I look at as a faculty of mine. I sing once in a while when some directors are really like, want me to sing a song. I think the last I sang for a film was for Vineet Srinivasan for a film called Hridayam. Not my film, someone else's film. And yeah, it's not, I don't, when people say that you're a singer also, I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah.
So, Prithvi, Sardami bhi aap kar rahe hain. How was your working with Kajol, if you can say something?
I cannot, because unfortunately the makers are yet to officially announce the film. So once they do and they put out an official update on the film, I'd be more than happy to speak on it.
But this is the best time for you because you are doing lots of Hindi film altogether. After doing giving lots of hits in Malayalam, Tamil, Telugu. Now you are focusing on Hindi.
No, I'm just focusing on cinema. It's just that for some reason, two great scripts from Hindi found their way to me, close to each other. In fact, I was shooting for this film in Algeria when Karan sent me that script, and again, as soon as I came back from Algeria, Ali called me for Bade Miyan Chote Miyan. So it's not like I've suddenly decided now, okay, I'm going to do Hindi cinema. It's just those scripts came my way, and they're really good scripts, and that's how I ended up doing both those films. And if the next good script I get is from Hindi, yeah, I mean, if the next good script I get is from Marathi or Bhojpuri or Assamese film, for me it's like that. I'm an actor. I'd love to explore all industries. Yeah.
What was the most difficult moment of your life?
The most difficult moment is probably when I lost my father. It was because I lost my dad suddenly. It was not it was not like he was ill for a while or something. So one fine day he was just not there anymore, and I was 14 years old at that time. And I think that was the most challenging phase of my life for us as a family to overcome. But thankfully, I had a very strong woman in place of my mother. I think my mother took care of us wonderfully well through that period of crisis, and yeah, that was that.
Because Holi aa rahi hai, 28th March is your film releasing. How is the fascination you have for Holi?
It's not a festival that we celebrate in a big way in Kerala, but now actually it's becoming a festival there also. I think it's now because of social media and because of how information dissipates across regions and platforms. I think now celebrations are all becoming universal. So yeah, it's actually a day of festivity now in Kerala as well. It's big for my wife because she was born and brought up in the north, and she spent most of her time in between Delhi and Bombay. So for her, it's a big celebration. So because of her, in my house also now, we make sweets and all that for Holi. Yeah.
चलिए आपके लिए The Goat Life बहुत success लेके आया, and it will be a great year for you. Thank you so much, Prithvi.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Can I have a picture with you?
Yeah, sure. Can we have the AC on for 2 minutes?